Good evening, folks, to a special episode of Let's Cooperate with your hosts Fireweaver and Calaf. Today we have some special guests with us from Online Warmongers, who are currently working on War Inc Battlezone. So introduce yourselves, guys. Andy, Chris.
I'm Chris Van. I don't know who wanted to go first. Chris
Oh,
Vance,
sorry.
the
Go for it,
designer.
Chris.
That's fine.
I'm
Chris Vance. I'm a designer on the game War Inc Battlezone.
And Matt Candler, EVP of Online Warmongers.
Excellent. Well, we'll start by finding a little bit about your company, Online Warmongers. How did you guys start the company?
Well, the CEO was actually the tech director of Riot Games on League of Legends, and then he decided to leave in 2008 and start his own online gaming company. I was previously at Activision and then Paramount Digital, and really liked the idea of jumping into digital and doing our own publishing, so joined the company last year. We have a proprietary tech, so it's a client server, data analytics, and the renderer, and allows us to really make the games we want to make.
Oh, brilliant. So you've got a lot of experience on the team already then.
Yep, Chris comes to us from Neversoft, from Guitar Hero 3. We have guys from Treyarch, from Black Ops, and other guys that have worked around the industry in online games, some of the Korean games and stuff like that.
Wow, that's quite a group of people you got. So, in your own words, guys, what is War Inc? What's it about?
Chris?
War Inc is a I got this. War Inc is a free-to-play shooter. It's on the PC. You can get it on Steam or you can get it anywhere. The game is about you play as a mercenary. You work for the mercenary groups. You go in and you're fighting other mercenary groups for control of regions and areas. As you fight, you gain currency and experience. You rank up your character. We have skills that you can put points into as you level up, and you use your currency that you earn while you play to get new, better gear and weapons and stuff like that. So it's a really fast-paced multiplayer environment with a lot of customizable options for the player to use to make it their own unique game as they play.
Well, we enjoyed playing it over the last few weekends. Actually, it's been a bit of a surprise at how easy it was to get into. What inspired you to create the game in the first place?
Well, we started with the fact that we really like shooters and we like Battlefield and Call of Duty, but we also saw free to play because we don't want to have to spend all the time to grind up to get our gear. So we thought, well, let's just do a game that allows us to give the graphical quality of what we want with the ease of use of a free to play shooter. So that's kind of where we decided to fit the product and kind of why we wanted to make it.
Well, you mentioned Black Ops and Battlefield 3. They're both first-person shooters, and you've gone for a third-person shooter. Any particular reason why?
Some of it is cost effectiveness. The other reason why was avatars, and we thought it would also distinguish us a little bit in the marketplace. Someone who didn't also want to play, hey, you play a first person, but third person allows you a little bit more tactical, and it allows you to see your dude. That's kind of the reason.
I see that you can look around corners a little bit with the third person when I was playing, and I get a little bit seasick with first person, not so much with third person.
Cool. Yeah.
You mentioned a little bit, but does this game have a big backstory, or is that something you're building around it?
Actually, yeah, there is a big backstory behind it. Essentially, there was a big economic crisis in the very near future, and that caused a lot of the world nations to kind of crumble and fall apart. And then there's these 5 major mercenary groups that are kind of almost in control of the military, almost, because like I said, the governments have kind of like shut down in a lot of ways. And so you've got these 5 major groups that are working for some of the powers that are still at hand, and also some of them have become their own large power entity, and they're trying to kind of, take over the world, if you will. Yeah.
It's actually
We had. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, it's actually the factions. We're going to be introducing that next quarter. Just kind of the whole which group you're fighting for, and then maybe put in the meta game.
Oh, excellent. Will that
so
then have their
there's a
own
big-
costumes?
Yes, they will have their own outfits. As you play with a faction, you will rank up through this faction, and as you rank up through this faction, you'll get rewards such as gear and weapons and items and stuff, and possibly many more things in the future as we continue to add into this feature that are unique to each faction, that are really, really, really worth fighting and working for with that faction and aligning yourself with that faction to get these rewards.
That sounds a pretty exciting change, actually. I'll be looking forward to that. Go on, Cal.
I was just wondering, would you be able to, because you say you get benefits from aligning yourself with factions, are you limited by aligning yourself with one faction, or can you align yourself with others?
You can only align yourself with one faction at a time. However, if you choose to switch factions, you'll have to pay a nominal amount of in-game or out-game currency to switch out to a new faction to play as them. But you won't get, like, so in a lot of other games, like, you might, like, wipe your faction's status, like how far you've earned so far. We won't do that, but you won't be able to use a lot of the faction unique items and stuff that you've unlocked while you're aligned to a different faction. So it's not necessarily gimping you in any way, but at the same time you have to make the choice of which one you do want to use at one time.
Will there be faction-related skills that go with that? Because we haven't covered this in the talking of the skills part, but yeah, the skills going to change as you get new factions.
Probably not. They're not. Skills aren't something that necessarily would tie into that.
Okay. How long have you been working on War Inc?
So let's see, the tech started in 2008, and we really started the game in 2010. So it's been a little bit over a year of actual game development, and a lot of that has come from we entered, let's see, late 2010 we entered kind of a first beta test, and that was to test server structure and how many users we could handle per server. And then in March we entered kind of a very closed beta. So it's been about a little bit more than a year and a half, I think.
That's actually not bad, considering you've got a game that's effectively out to download and ready to play now. That's very quick.
Yeah, I mean, we have really good guys, and we also focus our development with what the user and the analytics are saying. So it's kind of a different way of developing the game, a new way of developing games, which is to figure out what people are responding to and focus on that rather than hypothesizing about what people want. It's a little bit more like, okay, what do people want to do? Let's deliver that to the market.
So you're not using your a game engine from a third party, are you? It's your own game engine as well.
Yeah, it's all proprietary technology, and that's what allows us to do really fast development and really high quality kind of graphics. I mean, before League of Legends, Sergey was working at Microsoft in Gears of War and some other mech stuff, so he's been doing graphics for quite some time. And then we have the guys who are doing the server stuff from over in Korea, working on that, and then it's just a matter of putting the analytics in. So all that stuff is all of ours, and then we have some really good editors for building levels and tweaking stuff and changing the values for the currency and the gear and all that kind of stuff to kind of keep things balanced.
The interface that we're looking at, go on, Calaf. I was waiting for you to ask a question. Go on.
Oh no, it's well, yeah, the interface we're looking at is really clean. It's got great style. I was wondering how you settled on the design, and are there further improvements to it we can look forward?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that one more time?
My apologies. Yes, I find the interface is very clean with really good styling. How did you settle on the design, and are there further improvements to the interface design you're looking forward to?
Yeah, this is actually I think the third iteration we've had on our user interface. um, if it's gone from almost GI Joe looking to this now new like really nice techie looking UI. It's the design process in free to play, especially within our company, is very fluid. It's always changing. It's dynamic. So yeah, there's probably a chance for design changes in the future. I know there's a couple things we're looking to add into it right now. Like we're wanting to get a lot of our guild stuff, clan stuff up and running, and get the leaderboards working more streamlined, and get our calendars up and working so that people can relate back and forth, do more things with friends, with our friends features. So there's definitely a lot of things that are going to be changing in the future. When it comes to the overall look, um, I'd say that we're happy where it is right now. Who knows? Someday it could change again, but right now we're happy where it is.
I think the only part of the interface on the initial menus that I had any trouble with is the armory and the store screens. They're so very similar to each other that sometimes you forget where you are in them. So any plans to maybe adjust that up a little bit?
Actually, yes. We are going to be looking into both of those things because there's been a lot of feedback on both sides of those and the ways that we can definitely improve the look and feel of how it works. When those changes will be in, I'm not quite sure. I can't really give you a timeline on that, but that is something that we are looking at as something that we know needs to be designed out, redesigned, and maybe changed a little bit. But like I said, overall, it works. It's looks really good, and so we're happy with where it's at. Just there's little tweaks that can always be made to streamline the user, get things feeling more fluid and better.
Yeah, I agree. Other than that one thing, I actually enjoyed being on the loadout screens and looking around.
What would you say the system requirements for the game are? I mean, I found when I logged in, because I don't have a really beefy system, it was absolutely stunning graphics, great view. I didn't get any screen tear or lag at all during the game. What would you recommend as a good computer for it?
I would definitely recommend a mid-level computer, especially if you want to have uh, good high-level graphics. Our game is definitely one of the, if not the best looking free-to-play shooter that is out there. But with that comes a sort of a price when it comes to the computer system requirements. So if you want the game to look really nice, I would definitely recommend a high-end PC. If you want the game to look really good, then anywhere from mid-level to low-level will work for you. Even on our lowest settings, our game still looks better than a lot of the other competition out there. So I don't think most computers that have been bought within the last, I would say, 6-7 years should run this game on some level of quality. Like my computer, I built it 4 years ago now, and it runs the game on high at like 60 frames per second. So I wouldn't say that there's definitely no astronomical requirements, and you can run it on most PCs that are probably out there right now that gamers are playing.
That's really good. I
Able to
mean,
play it? Go on.
so yeah, I just thought that was really good. As when I logged in for the first time, I took a look and I'm like, my computer was about £300, $500. It's nothing special, and it looked absolutely incredible. Never seen anything like it, and to run on my computer that well, at least anyway.
Yeah, we put a lot of work and time into making sure that our game will look the best it possibly can, and we're still working on that and making sure that it'll also work on as many people's computers as possibly can, so everyone can load up the game and enjoy the game.
Speaking of getting as many people to play the game, will we see a Mac or console release?
We have the tech to do console. I mean, we've done PS 3 and Xbox stuff, so we have to do it. It's more of an economics question on those platforms. Maybe Sony will let us do that, and there's been some discussion on that. Mac, we've had a lot of users express that, but not quite enough of a percentage, basically, what our user base is. I mean, we unfortunately do have limited resources, so we have to figure out what we really can work on, and we're not right there yet for Mac people.
I think anyway with Macs, with the new Intels in them, that a lot of people are able to run the PC mode, and it'll probably get your game running anyway.
Yeah, we saw that in the office.
Yeah, the game. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was gonna say the game does run with Boot Camp, so as long as you're able to switch over to Windows on your Mac, then you should be able to run the game.
So you've had this in beta quite a while. What kind of challenges have you had to overcome? Was there a lot of unexpected player behaviour you've had to react to?
Not good. You got
on
it.
the design yeah, on the design side, I mean, player behavior when it comes to inside of levels and stuff like that. There have been some huge challenges that we've had to constantly kind of iterate over on top of levels and stuff like that, because players are awesome, because especially game players, because they will just jump in and they will try to find ways to break your stuff. They'll try to find ways to exploit and to take the most advantage that they can of the game, which is awesome. That's really fun, and it's also that makes the design more challenging and fun too, because you got to get in there, you got to see what they're doing, and then you got to fix it. So we've had people like glitching inside of rocks and jumping over things that we don't even know how they did it, and so we've had to come up with new design standards on how to do things, and we're starting to get that stuff down pat. Like we're seeing a lot less exploitation, a lot less problems. Game is running super smooth now on that, so that was a challenge at first, especially when we launched the open beta in July, and because we started seeing just like thousands and thousands and thousands of people coming in and just trying to break the game essentially, and that's what a beta's for, and it's taught us a lot about what we need to do, and we've really moved forward on that, and it's been a lot of fun and interesting on that side.
Yeah, we had to like dedicate at least 2 engineers to anti-hacks, because we got a lot of those coming in after in like August, so it was spending a lot of time addressing those so everybody had a fair experience.
I assume that's something you're going to have to keep chasing, the griefing and cheating. I doubt that'll ever stop, will it?
Correct. It was just the fact of being an online game.
And to be honest, it's actually not been too bad so far. Like, compared to a lot of other games I've played, we haven't had too many problems. Our community that plays, our people that play, have actually been really awesome people so far that have been much more helpful than destructive of the game. So it's been really good.
Cool. So can we talk a bit about customizations? I was wondering because you've got quite a high level system and you've got different skill trees, can we go through a bit of like the different sort of choices of classes and skills you might go through for the different sort of player you might want to be?
Actually, right. Go.
No, sorry, please go ahead.
Okay, so right now actually we're working on completely redesigning the skills towards more of a class-based game without the restrictions. So what we're planning and trying to do right now is to make a skill tree system that's bigger, a little more MMO-ish, but still fits inside of the shooter world, and that will boost certain types of abilities, items, unlock new items to use, like say C4 or like a riot shield and stuff like that, that will stay kind of class-based specific and boost with each class certain different types of primary weapons, so assault rifles, LMGs, and stuff like that, as well as introduce a new type of class, which will be the medic. So you'll be able to kind of heal people and run around with your little bandages and be like, oh, you're wounded, I'm going to heal you. So that's our big redesign focus right now on skills, is to get a really good system out that's working, and we're almost done that. We've got a very good system design now. Now it's going to go to coding soon, and then iteration from there. So someday in the near future, hopefully see live, be live.
Brilliant. The medic in particular that you mentioned, obviously the game's got this very realistic setting, and I think Team Fortress handles it in a fantasy way. You've got a healing gun that you shoot at people. How are you going to get round that in a realistic setting for War Inc?
In a realistic setting, it's actually really easy, but it'll be harder for a person to necessarily play as a medic. Instead of getting the ranged heal like you do in, say, Team Fortress 2 with the healing gun, you instead have to run up to the player and have your med kit out and do a little med work on them. So you're gonna have to sit there for a couple seconds. The player's gonna have to sit there for a couple seconds. You're gonna have to patch him up essentially before he goes out and runs out into the field. So it'll be a very skill based and teamwork related class, but it'll be one that's worth playing because you'll get a lot of rewards and bonuses for doing those things.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to be a medic for a pickup group, because they'll never stand still long enough for me to heal them.
Well, the medic being a support role, do you have any other support roles in the works? You mentioned something about C4. Is there also sort of going to be an explosives expert tree and such like?
Yeah, there is another support role. It's the engineer. His main focus is we're going to be launching vehicles very soon in our game. So you'll be able to drive around in vehicles and stuff like that, but as such you'll also get your vehicles damaged. So the engineer will be able to repair vehicles, and we'll have some explosive things as well. His main skill that you get at the end of the tree is an auto turret, so look forward to that.
Oh yeah, vehicle. Yeah, what you got? Tanks? Have you got Ferrari? Can I drive a Ferrari in the game?
I would love to have a Ferrari in the game.
Maybe we'll put one.
There's
right
definitely
now
a
what
couple
we
of maps
have,
with vehicles around. I assume some of those will start becoming drivable, because I'm trying to think of the map. Is it Crossroads has got a couple of vehicles sat at the start points?
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
it
have a
does
brand
have
new
some
map.
vehicles chilling out there.
Oh, but you've actually got a specific map in development, did you say, for the vehicle?
Yeah, it's a really
Yes,
huge
we
map,
do.
so you gotta have vehicles.
What kind of map is it, may I ask?
It's still a conquest
I
map,
can
and it's
give a
called
little
Valley
bit of-
right now.
oh.
Yeah, tell them about it, Vance. Hang on, I gotta go AFK.
That's okay.
Okay. So I'll tell you a little bit about the map. So the map is called, we're calling it Valley right now. It's our little code name for it. It's based in Eastern Europe, in Georgia to be specific. You'll spend a lot of your time running around through here. We're gonna have APCs as the main vehicle, so anti-personnel carriers or armored personnel carriers. Whoops, sorry. And so you'll be driving around in those. There's going to be several action spots for you to go capture flags at. One of them being an old Eastern European castle, so like a Russian castle type area, the Georgian castle type area. There's also like a kind of like a raised village on a cliffside, and there's a bunch of other spots that are also very rural city-ish. It'll be a really cool level. Like, I wish I could show you guys some of the screenshots, but gotta keep it a little hush hush.
There was one of the levels that I was playing at the weekend. I'm trying to think of the name of it. It's a post-apocalyptic city. You have to remind me of the name. You got the park in the centre.
Eastern Fall, yeah, Eastern Fall. That's
Oh.
actually sort of based off of Grozny, the city Grozny, that has seen a lot of war and turmoil over the past 20 years.
That's one of my favourite maps. We had a game this weekend, and I had my team all working together. And unfortunately, it's obviously designed for a lot more players than we brought, and we had like 4 of us on our team and 4 on the enemy team, and we were poking through the wreckage, and it kind of felt like that we were looking for survivors in amongst the wreckage of this town. It must have been about 10 minutes of looking for the other team, and eventually we see a glint in the hotel window. I assume it's a hotel that's all burnt out on the side, and
Yeah, that's a.
we poked our way through, and as we came through, and we saw them all huddled in the corner, obviously aiming at us. But what it looked like in my head is if like we'd found the survivors and we were going to snuff them out, and I felt quite bad actually shooting at them. They were like fish in a barrel. It was definitely a fun map.
I bet.
Oh, that's awesome.
You talked a little about game modes. What other game modes are in the game?
We have 3 game modes right now. We have our main game mode, which is Conquest, which is big capture the node type game based. We also have Deathmatch, which is Team Deathmatch, which is pretty straightforward. And then we have a mode which is our cyber sports mode called Sabotage. This mode is very similar to, say, Counter-Strike, where you got 2 teams facing off against each other, and one's trying to plant the bomb, and the other one's trying to stop them from planting it or defuse the bomb if it gets planted. With that mode, actually, in particular, we have going on in Russia right now. They're playing our game in, what is it, the World Cyber Games is what it's called, Matt?
What's that, Chris? Yeah. We have a competition mode.
Thank you, Matt. So yeah, it's in some competition right now in Europe. I'm sorry that my brain is fried and I don't remember the name of it. I believe it's World Cyber Games, but I could be completely wrong.
Yeah, that's what it was.
But yeah, so that's our 3 modes.
Have you got more planned in the future, or is that the ones you're going to focus on?
We really like Conquest, and we see a lot of our players like that the most, so we're going to focus on Conquest. We'll still have Deathmatch, but it's going to be Conquest, and then Competition, and then Deathmatch.
And where do you see competition in your game? I mean, you said already that it's currently being played in a Russian games convention. Where would you like to see it? How competitive are you looking for this game to be?
We are actually talking with some. Hang on, Chris. We're actually talking with some people that do this kind of stuff for kind of wagers, and that's something we want to definitely go into and allow for a lot more tactical and a lot more competition mode, and really focus on that in 2012. I think it's going to be pretty awesome.
Will you be able to track some of that competition in game? Are we going to have leagues and that kind of thing to look at?
That's the plan, and then we want to have a big tournament. I mean, that was always the goal, was to have a big tournament at the end of the year with the top teams in a live setting. Kind of like how poker does it with satellite tournaments and then live tournaments. So that's kind of the vision of where we'd like to go design-wise. We try to keep it, the top teams are, skill, and we're seeing a lot of this data from the Russian, from Syncopate, which is our Russian partner there. A lot of the teams that are giving us this data, so we're kind of working on that, and that's kind of what we spent more time in beta, spending more time focusing on, is how to keep that competitive, keep it skill-based, still make it fun for everybody, and then enable this kind of tournament type of functionality.
Perhaps I was doing it wrong, but when we tried to set up some sabotage maps, we had one was the terrorist, one was the anti-terrorist, but we thought after each round we'd swap places. Was I just doing it wrong?
No, the way we have it currently designed is when you go into a match, you're always on T or you're always on CT, so you don't really switch teams in between. We're looking at ways right now to maybe kind of work on the sabotage mode, make it a little better, maybe. One of the things I would like to see is that after a certain amount of rounds, both teams switch sides so that both teams get a chance to, be the attacker and be the defender. But as of right now, that's the way it's set up, so you weren't really doing it wrong. Right now, it's just you go in, you either play as T or CT for the duration of the match.
Ah, I see. I assume, if you're doing organised competition, it wouldn't take much to swap teams anyway, so I'm sure that's fine for organised.
Yeah, organized to be very, very simple. You
No, I
just play
noticed when I
your
was playing the
10
game, I was
rounds on
getting
one side
achievements here
and
and
then
there.
start a new game. Everyone joins the other team. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I thought you cut. I thought you'd stop, but you cut out slightly. My apologies. Yeah, I was just wondering about the achievement system. You have an achievement award system. How does it work? And yeah, how does it work?
When it comes to the rewards, you earn the rewards from doing acts that are either really mundane and easy to get or really hard to do things. So getting a kill, for example, will only it's a pretty average thing to do, gives you a little bit of a reward. Getting a kill with an explosive gives you a little more. What we try to do with our rewards is to really push players towards objective-based gameplay. So say if you're in Conquest, we don't necessarily give you a lot of rewards for killing somebody, although we know it's important to kill people in the game in order to capture the areas. We want to reward players more for going and capturing flags. So if you capture flags, then you will get more rewards than just go running around and killing. So we're trying to push people, hey, go out there, but don't just go sit around somewhere. Go be helpful to your team. Go capture these flags and do stuff like that. When it comes to our achievement system, our achievements are not done yet, but we will have a pretty basic achievement system that most other games have, especially like they have on Steam with their with their setup. So you can look forward to hopefully seeing that one very soon.
Oh, great! Well, especially they've got their Christmas things going on in Steam. Great to see your achievements hook in for their next big events, so we can play a bit of War Inc and maybe earn some Steam gifts as well.
Yeah, that'd be hopefully fantastic, but I'm not quite sure we will be making it in time for that.
Yeah. We talked a bit about the maps, but we didn't, the audience may not know how many players that we can expect on each maps. So what kind of numbers of players does War Inc support?
Technically, it could handle up to 120 something players or something like that, but most maps are 32 players, so 16 versus 16. And then our new, larger, bigger vehicle maps, like starting with Valley, are going to be 32 versus 32. So 64 players should be kind of becoming the average thing as we move forward into newer maps.
Oh wow! Yeah, looking forward to that. I assume with the competition modes, we probably won't see anything like mods or map editors in the game.
Yeah, that's as much as I would love to give that sort of creativity to the fan base, because that's always awesome. I've always enjoyed that myself as a level designer. But right now we do not have that planned for any time in the near future.
Yeah, I think it's understandable.
How does the game handle matchmaking?
There's several ways you can do it. In fact, there's a lot of ways you can do it. First off, there's the room levels. So the first thing you want to look for is, as a new player, you're going to see rooms level 1 through 9. And that's to keep kind of the new players kind of away from the old players, away from the new players. So the new players will have their ability to kind of jump in and kind of gradually learn the game without having the new players just come in and pwn everybody. So you can do that by either going to Quick Match or by browsing through a server list. We have both of those options. You can also create your own games. You can create premium games if you have a premium account, and that gives you a lot of options of what if you want to restrict weapons and stuff like that. And that's essentially it. We do a lot of corralling of players, kind of to keep them in their level group. That's our most important thing that we worry about, so that everyone can enjoy the game, but at their own level.
Mind me stepping out
There'll be future skill matching, so there's a level system, but that may not necessarily equal skill level. Still not getting much better physics.
Yeah, that definitely is true. I mean, even if you play for a long time, you'll reach level 30 and you might not be that good. But as of right now, we don't really have like any plans to make a thing that really just pays attention to your stats and like gives you a skill level and that will balance you out with other players to their skill level. That would potentially be something really good, but right now that's not something. Excuse me, that's something that we've really thought of.
Okay. And for friends on the being able to play together, tell us a little bit how they do that, and is it easy to do?
It's very easy to add a friend. You just have to know your friend's name, and then you go to the community tab in the UI, click on friends, and then add friend. When you click on add friend, you just type in the friend's name and adds them, and then the other friend will be like, oh hey, look, this person added you a friend. And that's essentially it. It's very simple, very easy.
What I liked when I was playing with the friends system was if I was logged in and a friend was playing, when he started a new match, the little pop-up box to say, hey, your friend's playing this, do you want to join him? Brilliant, that's really great.
Yeah, we thought that was definitely a key needed thing. We've always, look at Xbox Live. You get that popping up, and it's like, ooh, my friend just started playing this game. It makes you want to pop in that game and go play it with them. So having that on Steam, and then having it on the friends list, and even more where it tells you, hey, you can jump right into their game, is, it's really nice for people to be like, ooh, I'm going to go play with my friend now.
I'm wondering, did you have any ideas that you couldn't bring into the game?
More than any of us could ever count.
So what was the worst idea then?
Anything that Matt came up with. No, I'm kidding. I can't really say there's a worse idea, because every idea has its merit, and you have to take, as a designer, you have to take that idea and either scrap it completely because it's just absolutely not usable, but you learn something from it, or take that idea and find the good from it and then mix it in with something else, try to make it work for the game. So there's never really anything that's like a worst or best idea. It's just more of what's going to work right for the game we're making right now. Because even if there's an idea we want to bring to the game now, there's a game probably coming on down the road that idea can come back and just be absolutely amazing.
Are there any Easter eggs hidden in the game that, if what's the right word for it? Eagle-eyed players can find?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Okay, well, our players have to look out for that then.
It's
a lot of these
store.
yeah. A lot of these last questions are a little on the lighter side. So the weapons that you've got in the game, they are very realistic. But have you tried to use the real life counterparts yet?
A lot of us have. I can't say I'm a weapons expert like a lot of the other people here. I've only shot a couple different types of guns. But we have people in our company that are avid gun collectors. So yeah, a lot of the people do know a lot about these weapons. Some of them to the point where they can list off like the RPMs, the fire rates, all this stuff from the top of their head on these weapons. It's like, whoa.
We've got an art director who's got a couple of videos on YouTube that have over 1 million views shooting some weapons, and we've got one of our designers was also served in the Marines, so and saw action in Iraq. So a lot of guys using weapons.
So when you design the weapons, you got replicas in the office. I think I saw a link to Air Rifle Company or something. Yeah, you'd have to tell me about that.
Yeah, we've got about 20 of those airsoft guns from Cybergun in our office, which we just did a big giveaway for our first player who got to level 60. He got like 2,000 pounds using British money, worth of gear from Cybergun for being the top first guy to get to level 60.
Wow, that's a hell of a gift.
Yeah, we're giving away 15 guns this month. We have another big promotion coming in January with a brand new gun called the Blazer from Cybergun. So we'll be doing lots of live giveaways of real guns, airsoft guns.
Real replica guns rather than the
Yes,
digitized
exactly.
ones.
Yeah, I was a bit worried about where that might go.
Yeah, we're not arming the populace right now.
But for the future, you never know.
You never know where it goes.
We talked a bit before we started recording, but what other games are you playing right now?
Star Wars and WoW and Battlefield and Modern Warfare 3.
Oh, so you play
Cool.
both Battlefield
playing,
and Modern Warfare.
Yeah, there's that blend of tactical and Battlefield, but there's also the really, if you look at what the guys at Modern Warfare do, it's like they really focus on the combat being really tight, and then the Battlefield guys kind of leave it more of a sandbox, and we try to achieve both of those fun elements.
And the games I've been playing almost mirror Matt's, except for I'm not about to start playing Star Wars. Been playing a lot of WoW, been playing a lot of Battlefield 3, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, been playing Rocksmith, which is an awesome rhythm game. And I've been playing a little game called Gunbound a little bit.
I've not heard of Gunbound.
No, that's a new one.
Gunbound is actually an extremely old game. It's one of the first free-to-play games I've ever played, actually. It's a little game where you're on these little mobiles, and then you have to judge the power of the shot and the wind. It's like Worms, if you've ever played Worms. Except for you
right.
spend real money on on these little mobiles, these cute little mobiles. It's a Korean game.
So back to your own game. It doesn't have to be related to the movie, does it? I
No.
assume you know about the movie.
Yes, but no.
Okay. If it ever did get turned into a film, what stars would you have play as, the soldiers?
Well, we have some new characters
Brock
coming in, like hero
Lesnar.
characters. Yeah, Brock Lesnar. Michelle
I
Rodriguez.
would totally have Brock Lesnar in that movie. No more Michelle Rodriguez. She's not allowed to be in any war movies ever again. Just keep her away.
Oh, come on.
So,
So finally... Oh, go on.
no, please go ahead.
Yeah, so finally, just to wrap things up, I've got a couple of last questions. So with all the betas going on, when is the release date for the game? Have you got anything in mind?
We're targeting like in the next few months, and it depends on where vehicles are, and also if we can tighten those up, and then where tournament mode is. But there's a few things we've kind of highlighted as these have to happen, and really it's get a little bit more testing in. But I think we're very, very close to having a launch.
That's good news, good news. And what else can we expect to see from Online Warmongers in the future?
We have a giant robot game in development, combat game, and we've got one other game in concept mode, which is about vehicles. So we'll still be doing PvP session-based combat. We're really good at that, and we just want to kind of expand the worlds out to some stuff that we've all liked to make.
Oh, brilliant. That's a lot of good information there for us. Thank you both for your time for the channel. That is excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks guys. That was awesome.
Cheers.
And for our viewers, if you want to check out War Inc, you can pick that up from Steam, which is I find the easiest way. But it's also available on their website. I think that's www.warinc.com.
www.thewarinc.com.
Oh, sorry. I'll have a link in the description box anyway, so you'll be able to click on that just to get the game. Check it out. It's a hell of a lot of fun. So
Thanks, guys.
yeah.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys.
Yep. Thanks, and to everyone else. Yeah. Goodbye, and have a very Merry Christmas, considering the time of the year.